Hello, this is Dee Dryden, and this is Reflections of Faith, and thank you for joining me here on YouTube. This is the second, this is February 5th, February 5th at 7:30 in the evening, and I am just recording this. I haven't been able to record a whole lot because I haven't been by myself for quite some time, so I'm just going to catch you all up what is going on. I am wrapping up with the ladies in Chadron that I'm doing a study with for Carrie Kirkwood's book called The Power of Blessing. And the ladies, the last time I was with them, God laid it upon my heart to wash their feet and to give them some clothes and to take them out to eat. The washing of feet symbolizes a journey that is when Jesus walked on this earth. He might have had sandals, but I think the majority of the time he didn't have any. They didn't have tennis shoes or anything like that. So when he washed his disciples' feet at the supper, it was a symbolism of leaving the past behind and starting anew. And it was also a humbling to serve his disciples, to be a servant to his disciples. So he just put it on my heart to do that, so I went down to the ladies that day. I also had a bunch of clothes that God told me to give them, and I had a coupon from Subway that had, I think, 20 bucks on it. I don't remember what, but he wanted me to just give that to them, and as a token of my appreciation for all that they had done in this class that we were having, because every Monday that we got together, I looked forward to it, because that week then I would have blessings would just fall on us and through this Power Blessing book. And I am just thrilled to death that we're about done with that, and I'm watching God work mightily in all of our lives, and things are happening very quickly now that we're towards the end of the book. Now, one of my girlfriends, Cindy, is going to be gone for the next couple of weeks. She's gone to Alaska, and one of the other ladies who has been there and not been there is in Nebraska, in Crawford, Nebraska. Early on when we first started, she came into the house. She has heart problems, and that heart problem since she was born has caused her to be overweight. So she's in Crawford, and she also suffers from she's a diabetic. So I have been working with her with that and praying with her over that, because I'm, of course, in the healing ministry under Joan Hunter Ministries, and so I have been working diligently with her. And I had explained to her and did a word for her that it would be better if she sold her home in Crawford and moved to Chadron into an apartment that would be accessible to and have all the things that she would want. It's just the way she can't, I told her that she can't take care of anybody until she takes care of herself. Okay, and so she took that into mind, and she also took a hold of Joan Hunter's teaching, and it's just changed this woman. I am just so thrilled. Between Joan Hunter and Carrie Kirkwood, The Power of Blessing, it has done absolute character change in her personality, because she's more than willing to put that into practice, and as all the ladies are. And one of the ladies also has been diagnosed with 4-stage cancer, and she hasn't gone downhill. She actually is turning around somewhat, and she's getting out, and she's not letting this diagnosis bother her. I have prayed for her. Hospice has come into her apartment. I told her to pray blessings over the hospice workers that come in there, because they represent the death spirit, of course. And so she had done that, and it turned around that she got blessed by one of them. They had brought her a bunch of food and things for her birthday, and also some presents and whatnot. So it lifted that spirit off of her. And then the other time that I was down there, God led me to a church, and they had a list of people who had had cancer on a piece of paper, and I took that to her home in the apartment. I took it to her, and I had her pray over that and pray blessings over it, because that blessing comes back 100-fold when you're praying for people to get well with whatever it is that you have right? When you're playing the intercessor as a proxy, then praying for people, that with what you have, it comes back to you a blessing. So that's where they are. So I won't be able to get together with them for a couple of more weeks, and it kind of worked out really kind of convenient, because during that time last week we were in the process of selling this home that my ex-husband had, who he was going to retire here. And I think if you look at my other videos, you will see how I explain that. So this trailer house, and it has a city block to it. I did some videos on it, but you can see the house. We had it listed at 109 at one point with the realtor. We went down to 99, and then we dropped the realtor last week, and we decided to put it down to $80,000 because the location that it's at, it's more apt to go with a lower price. We compared it with other houses selling around here, and that we felt that that was a pretty reasonable price. So we asked also to have the buyer cover the closing cost, which turns out to be about $1,000. So when we first got this out and first got it advertised, within 24 hours, we had a young lady that wanted to come look at it. And she apparently now is living in the middle of winter in a RV. She works in her RV on a computer. I thought that she was a nurse to start with, but she has a home-based business, which I'm going to ask and look into that as well, because I would love to work from home when I get to Montana. But she came, looked at it, she loved it, she told us that her dad would be getting a hold of us, and he came the next day. He never called, he just kind of showed up. He looked the place over, he looked everything over, and I keep a pretty, decently clean house, so when he came, it was good. It was in good shape, unlike sometimes when people drop in and your house isn't in the shape that it should be. So after we looked at everything and after he saw everything, he then offered, he tried to push us for $75,000, that he would write us a check. And he did that at least 3 times, and I said, no, we're not going to do that. We are not going to sell it any less than $80,000. We just opened it up. We haven't even put signs out yet. So I just turned him down, and I said, plus the closing costs. I was really very adamant about that. So turns out we let them wait it out for 24 hours, and of course I knew they would call, and they did, and they want to meet our price of $80,000, which was fine, but they want to split the cost of the closing costs. Now we are waiting. That's where we're at right now. We're going to give them a call tomorrow. If they haven't called us and agreed to cover that, we will pay half of it. I don't like having to do that because we've taken so much out already. So, but we just want to get this over with. My oldest son is going to go live he's looking at apartments in Nebraska, so he is going to go back to work at Walmart, I'm sure part-time, since he has money. He will have had money in the bank from the sale of this home. So I will get him moved. I'll keep my van and get him moved with that. And my youngest son is going into cargo van driving, and he will be going to North Dakota, I guess, and going into a company or a man that wants to hire him to do cargo van driving as soon as he gets his car fixed. I thought about exchanging my van with him with the car, but I think now I'm just going to have to pray about this, but I think I may sell my van in Rapid City and then just take the U-Haul to Montana. I got a hold of my mentor who lives in Montana, and I would love to retire at Big Fork, Montana, or Kalispell, but Big Fork around the lake. I was thinking more like Polson, because on the Polson land is the reservation where I can get my medical, as well as getting it here because I am a Sioux and French. And as long as I'm on the Polson land reservation, I can get that medical assistance free. However, until God confirms these things, until everything is confirmed, my mind is set right now at getting the sons located, and in the process of praying and figuring out where I'm supposed to go and what I'm supposed to be doing in the meantime. So that's where we're at right now. Tomorrow we're going to call them, and if they haven't called and volunteered to do the covering of the cover charges of the closing costs of $1,000, we will then do halfway. So by next week, either hopefully Monday or Tuesday, we will have gotten that all done, in the inspection and all the paperwork and everything completed. And it takes about 10 days, business days after that, to complete the sale of a home. So we will have to be out of here, I'm guessing, at the latest 3 weeks into it. So I'm hoping to be back into Montana before March 4th, anyway, at the end of this month. So I believe that everything's going to happen very quickly now. We're all going to go our separate ways. I think God's going to open the doors now that everything is done, and we will be able to get on with our lives. It's been a really adventurous time being down here and helping my sons and getting reacquainted with my family and saying goodbye to this home that I'll never see again. This house represents years and years of my ex-husband, who I was married to for 21 years, of his work ethic and how he worked hard to retire, to be in this home until he found out he had gotten cancer. And of course I went through that in my last video, so I'm not going to go through that again. But I'm looking forward. My goals are to get settled somewhere finally, get my stuff out of storage, and retire in Montana somewhere, and to start my book. I want to sit down and start books, I should say, and get these videos going more frequently. I want to invest in a camera that is really nice camera. We've been looking at that online. My youngest son has been helping me do that, and so it comes in a lot clearer, the ones that you take with you. Now he has an iPad that he has let me use, however that's hard to hold when you're walking. I did the videos with the house when I was selling the house and showing you a little bit about the house, how that worked, and it was okay. It wasn't, there's a lot of things I had to figure out about it, but I like those little cameras that they were talking about. So with one of those, I think cost about $400, $500, but then I want to get myself a computer and a printer. Hopefully I can maybe buy my oldest son's, so I don't have to. I'm kind of computer illiterate until I get to where I can sit down and read the directions and sit down and get it together. So hopefully I can get that all set up, because that's going to be my business, and I have about 4 months to be able to do that. Hopefully I'm going to try and find a job that is part-time or full-time in a church somewhere. That's where I'd really like to be, is go into a church after I have been. In between time, I have to go to, after I get settled in Montana in April, the 2nd of April, I also have to, once I get to Montana, I have to get a plane ticket out of Kalispell to go to Tomball, Texas, because I have to be at Joan Hunter's ordination for a week, and the second week to be ordained to be pastor slash teacher slash healer. So I'm looking forward to that. I got all the book work done on that. I've been studying under her for the last 4, 5, 6 years off and on, but I've really been hitting with her the last year in all her materials and getting to know that, putting that down and working it in my life with other people. So that's where we're at. Thank you for joining me. Do subscribe to my videos. I would appreciate that. And thank you for those of you. Go ahead and leave comments. Be blessed to be a blessing, and thank you for joining me.